Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Tom Wilson Racing YouTube channel. Looking into the fourth and final day of the Cheltenham Festival. I'm gonna do a bit of the preview video over the weekend, looking back at all 4 days of the racing. What I want to do tonight is just keep it short, sharp, and snappy, as I've tried to do all week. Just to let you know my thoughts, my selections, as I've said in previous videos. Please let me know what you're backing tomorrow in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and give me a follow over on X at RacingTJW. So we're going to spend no further time with introductions. We're going to get straight into it, looking at the Triumph Hurdle. Just to give you a little bit of a background, what I've looked at for this race. 7 of the past 9 winners started their career in France. 9 of the past 15 winners were unbeaten, which you'll see from the 2 that I've got here now down in Stormheart and Cargeese. Neither of those meet that bill. 19 of the past 26 winners won last time out. Only 1 of the past 14 winners didn't contest a graded race last time out. 10 of the 12 winners had at least 2 runs over hurdles, and 11 of those 12 winners had at least 1 win over hurdles. Now, my selection is very much based around that grade 1 at Leopardstown last time out at the DRF, and I'm going to be siding with Stormheart to overturn the form of Cargeese. I think Stormheart will come on. Cargeese has obviously got a little bit more experience over hurdles than Stormheart. I think with this being his third run, he'll come on for those previous 2 runs. I think the fact that Paul Townend has chosen to ride Stormheart speaks volumes. I think Willie Mullins will be keen to get a winner for Gigstown here. Now he's got them back in his owner's circle, if you like. He was only beaten at length by Cargeese. It's not beyond the realms of possibility to see that form reversed. Often that form is reversed from the DRF at Cheltenham. I think he'll be suited by the stiff finish at Cheltenham. He obviously ran out a really, really impressive 22-length winner when he joined Willie Mullins on his stable debut on New Year's Eve at Punchestown. You look back at his form in France, very, very consistent. He's second in a grade 1. I think he'll step on for that run. I backed him at 10s earlier on in the week before Sergino came out. I still think he's a fair bet at 9-2. It's worth saying Sky Bet are doing money back as cash up to £5 if your horse is a loser. So we'll have a point on him at 4-1 there to win the opener and get us off to a flyer, hopefully. Moving on to one of the main races of the day. Well, not the main race, but the most competitive race, I think. That means that the Gold Cup is very competitive, but this is one that can really get stuck into. And that is the county hurdle. You're looking for a 5 or 6-year-old here, something rated within the 130s, and something that's obviously run at Cheltenham previously as well. It is worth saying that only 1 of the past 25 winners were aged 9. Only 2 winners this century were rated higher than 146, and only 3 of the past 20 winners carried more than 11 stone 10. If you wanted something else to put you off the Nicky Henderson horses, aside from the fact that they've been running real poorly this week, he's known from 35 this century, and also Gordon Elliott is known from 20 since 2011. So it might be worth bearing that in mind if you're fancying King of Kingsfield, that's quite high up the market at the moment. I've got Les Dussault, which is obviously, the way the Dan Skellern horse has been running, sounds a good chance. But I'm going to take a flyer to a price here. You're going to get massive places each way here. I think Sky Bet, again, as they have been all week, they stand out with the most places, 7, but you are getting a bit of a reduced payback as a result. With that being said, I think Risk Bell's got a very good chance for Willie Mullins here. Risk Bell obviously ran to 3rd in the Boodles last year, beating a neck by Jazzy Matty. He's been running. He then won at Fairyhouse in the spring. Following that, he reappeared at Fairyhouse in December when he won a grade 3 over this trip, beating Nurse Set quite comfortably that day, although he was in receipt of lumps of weight. His last 2 runs have been fairly well beaten, Leopardstown on both occasions, but I think he's been running over the wrong trip. I think coming back down to 2 miles will suit him at a track that he's run well at previously in Cheltenham. if you're looking for the big field, his ability to handle big fields. He obviously third, as I mentioned, in a 21 runner Boodles, and he also was the winner of the 16 runner handicap at Fairyhouse last April. So I think at 20 to 1 with 7 places, he's a very good bet. My other bet is Petit Tonnerre. I think the John Joe O'Neill stable, despite having a poor week, will probably see this is one of the best chances to land the handicaps, to be honest with you. He's had a fairly good chasing campaign, which included a second to Home Public on his chase debut at Cheltenham. I was very impressed with that. Don't normally like horses going over fences, going into graded company and making their chase debut at Cheltenham. That being said, he then came back here on New Year's Day and was beaten 9 lengths by Liberty Hunter, who ran a cracker in the was it the plate earlier today? I can't quite remember, but he run a really respectable racing with big handicaps this week. For his efforts over fences, somehow he's been dropped £4 over hurdles. I think the John Joe O'Neill's stable have been absolutely delighted with that. He finished seventh in this race last year off a mark of 140. He's now finds himself £4 lower. He'll handle the soft ground. He's coming back to a track that he's run very well at previously. And again, I'll give him a squeak each way. You get 20 to 1 about him as well with 7 places. So I think that's a fair bet there. Now, the Albert Bartlett is a race that I've spent quite a lot of time deliberating over. I really do like Dancing City for Willie Mullins. He has drifted out a little bit, but what I quite like about him is the fact that we know he's going to handle conditions, he's going to handle the slog. He's already got a Grade 1 victory to his name, having beaten Predators Gold, although he didn't really do the form any favours, but he still won in good fashion that day under Danny Mullins. Danny Mullins takes the ride here again tomorrow. I think he'll handle the 3 miles. His point-to-point winner over 3 miles, beating Thomas More, which I have a little line on him. Thomas More finished second in his point-to-point. And he finished second, his sixth in the running of this race last year, did Thomas More. He's got that Grade 1 Nathaniel Lacey, novice hurdle form from the DRF. He's got a fair bumper form behind 3 Car Bragan Ballyburn, Predators Gold in second last time out. He's no mug, even if he did run poorly at Cheltenham this week. I think at 8 to 1 you're going to get a fair each way price about him. But I can't get away from the fact that although I've crossed him out here, Captain T represents winning connections of Paul Nichols and Haddock Cobden from last year. He ran a really good race here. He was third behind, he was third in the champion bumper last year and always looked as though he'd appreciate a step up in trip. And I think he hadn't run over third far enough at the moment. The fact that they decided to skip the Bingham hurdle and come here is a massive telltale of that. I think he'll really appreciate this testing stamina. He kept going and kept going and kept going in the Charlotte Newbury, really attritional conditions at Christmas. Yes, he was beaten here over hurdles in November, but what I would say about that is I don't think Harry Cobden gave him the best ride. I'm not one to often criticise Harry Cobden. He's a very good jockey, but even by his standards, I think he took the wrong route up the home straight that day. I think he could do worse than back him each way. He can get 7 to 1 with extra places. So I'd take those two up, despite being towards the top of the market. I can understand if there's some spot for Lecky Watson, but I think reading Tommy Wrongs, is he that good? I think the form of that Laws and Nace, I think it was that he won, it has worked out that well. Il Antique was well beaten the other day. Firefox well beaten since as well. So yeah, I think I'd take one. I'd take Dancing City and Captain Teague there each way. Moving on to the big race now, the Gold Cup. And I've played quite I'm back Conor Ramble. I think Conor Ramble will stay all day, and I can see him hitting the frame, especially with extra places widely available. Again, getting 4 with Sky Bet, 4 with Bet365. But the 2 main selections of Jericho Long. Now, something was clearly a miss. He didn't jump all that well at Leopardstown on his last start, unbeaten 23 lengths back, get galloping the jump, but he still managed to finish second despite some horrific jumping that day. He's coming back to a track that we saw him perform well at last year when he was beaten a short head by the real Wacker, the Brown Advisory. Again, I'd be pretty critical of the ride he got that day. I think it would give him far too much to do. This is the furthest that he's ever run over. But I think he'll really, really, really appreciate this stiff testing stamina. This has always been the target for him, as it has most of these horses, to be fair. But I do quite like the look of Jerry Colomb. The other one that I just can't get away from is L'Homme Presse. Venetia Williams had a couple of good runners this week. He had 17 to 2 each way with extra places now. A bit of money's coming for him. And despite not having the winners, she has had a couple of good runners, Venetia Williams. I think she's felt a bit shortchanged today, maybe. I would completely disregard that run at Ascot last time out on the basis that it was a trip to inadequate and going right-handed, which doesn't suit him. He's going back left-handed to a track that's performed well in the past. His Brown Advisory win 2 years ago, one of the best that we've seen for quite a while. He returned after a lengthy absence to Lingfield in January when he bet Protectorate, who obviously won the Ryanair today, giving him a fair form boost. He's going to appreciate the soft ground. I think he's going to appreciate the testing stamina. Was running a massive race in the King George 18 months ago when he unseated Charlie Deutsch at the final flight that day. I think he's got a massive chance of hitting the frame there. You've got each way angles into this all over the place. Redman's Game could make a case for him. I do think Paul Nicholls has probably found the key to getting him back, but I prefer to go for two horses here that haven't tried the hand. That's Jericho and L'Homme Presse at this race. Moving on, nothing in the Fox Hunters. Moving on to the mares at Chase. Dino Blue is short enough for me, given that ground conditions are going to be testing. Yes, she's got the Grade 1 form with the boys, but she's yet to be tested over this trip, and it's going to be a real, real stiff testing stamina. I think Algora Devassi's form finishing second to Impervious here last year is really good form coming back into this race. She got herself back on track when winning the listed mares contest at Naas last time out after being a little bit hit and miss. I think she's a good bet at 9 to 2. I think there's plenty of value in that bet there. And moving on to the Martin Pipe, the last race of the day. When it loads up, and I've gone for better days ahead here for Gordon Elliott in the very last race on the festival. Well worth watching. There's some really good winners in the past. 8 to 1, 6th place at Sky Bet. Just to run you through better days ahead to form. He's got form behind Slade Steel, winner of the Supreme, which I think is really good. He got form behind Asian Master, who ran a massive race as well. I think that was also in the Supreme. I think he'll really, really appreciate the return to 2 mile 4 furlongs tomorrow. A mark of 136 certainly looks workable. And Danny Gilligan, who takes the rides in fair form with a 16% strike rate, I think he's got a really good chance of hitting the frame. So those are my final selections for the Cheltenham Festival. Hopefully we can finish the festival with a bang. I had a quick look at my profit and loss earlier on Sky Bet, just slightly ahead at this point. So hopefully we can get out of here with a bit of profit. It's been quite a tricky festival. If you found any winners, good, fair play to you. Grey Dawning obviously did us a massive, massive favour earlier on today. Hopefully we can get a couple more winners tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you have, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. And I shall see you on the other side of the festival. Best of luck with tomorrow's racing. As always, gamble responsibly. Take care. Cheers.